Hello, and welcome to this quick video where I'm going to cover a couple of the most frequently asked questions I've been getting over the past week or so. This format's going to be a little bit different than some of the past EdTech videos that I've created, so let's go ahead and just dive right in. The first thing I'd like to touch on are a bunch of questions surrounding your Canvas course, whether that's Canvas access, different items in Canvas, how do you upload content, and that sort of thing. So I figured the easiest way to do that would just be to show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is log into Canvas at bc.edu/LMS. If you're not signed in, you'll be brought to this sign-in page, and you'll just use your BC credentials here. Now, you may be aware of getting to Canvas via Agora portal. I can't show you that because I don't have a course that I'm teaching, but I will show you where that appears. So if I go to portal.bc.edu, in the academics and courses section, there will be a manage your courses section here. And another quick thing to point out here, if you don't see that, or when you click on it, you don't see your Canvas course, please email atrinbox@bc.edu and we can help get that sorted out for you. So if I hop back over to the Canvas dashboard, the first thing I'd like to touch on is simply how do you organize this main dashboard page here? So if I scroll down, the first thing you'll see is published courses listed here at the top. And if I go all the way down, there is another section of unpublished courses. So if you haven't published for your course yet this semester, I'll touch on that in a little bit, but you'll find that down here. There's a quick button to publish it whenever you're ready. Otherwise, you'll see all your other courses you've taught in the past appear at the top. And some of you have noticed this gets a little unwieldy, and it can be hard to find your course sometimes, especially if the course name gets thrown off the edge of this little course card here. So how do you correct that? Well, let's say your course that you're teaching was down here at the bottom. The first thing to note is these little tiles are click and draggable. So I could just click and drag this up to the top of the page, and I'm using the scroll on my mouse here to get to the top, and then I could just drop it wherever I want. The other thing I could do is I could click this little 3-dot icon here and click move, then move to top. And now this course will always appear at the top. So this is one really quick and easy way to do that. And then let's say I wanted to differentiate this by a color that I would recognize. I could do that by changing the color here. And let's say I wanted to change it to purple. So now, I've got a quick visual indicator and I've moved it to the top left corner of my Canvas page. So that helps really well. The other thing you can do is simply remove all the courses from the dashboard except for the current course you're working with. So in order to do that, I can click on courses here in my global navigation, scroll down to the bottom of the page here, click on all courses, and then every course that has a star next to it will appear on your dashboard. So if you don't want these to appear, let's say I don't want these to show up on my home page, and I only wanted this fall's course to show up, I would just find that, click the star next to it, unselect everything else, and then I'm good to go. There's no save button. There's nothing for you to do at the bottom of the page. You simply unstar, and then you're good to go. So now when I go back to my dashboard here, those courses have been removed from my list. And you can see the number at the top has been reduced from 18 to 15. So that's a good visual indicator too. I hinted at publishing your course earlier. Another question I get a lot of times is, help, my students can't see the course content. There's a lot of different things that could be going on, but the main one to check first is simply that your course is published. If it shows up in this top section that says published, you're good to go. If you notice that it shows up in the bottom section down here for unpublished courses, you can go ahead and just click publish right from this area, and then you're good to go. The majority of Canvas content items have a way to publish it so that it's available to your students. So I'll link to another document that has extensive directions on how to do that for every single thing, whether that's a module, content within modules, pages, assignments, so on and so forth. So that way you'll have that as a resource as well. The next thing I'd like to talk about is adding users to your course. So I'm going to open up a testing site that I've created and go to the people section. A lot of times I'm asked to add people to the course, whether that is a TA, another colleague, and typically you can actually do this on your own. It's much faster and it's very easy to do. So I just wanted to walk through that process for you. The one exception here is that after the term date, so let's say fall semester, 2 weeks after the end of the term, this people section becomes disabled. So you're not able to add people afterwards. There is a way to do that, and I can cover that later on or answer those questions. But for current courses, the easiest thing to do is to click this people icon, and then all you need to do is add their email address. And this takes the username at bc.edu format. If you don't know that already, a quick tip I have is to open up an email, start typing in their name, and it will show you their username in the BC directory. So in a compose window in your email, I just pulled up a quick compose window just to show you the example. I could just start typing in a colleague's name, let's just say Wayne, and it will give you the list of his friendly addresses as well as the username version. Then you can hover over it and simply right-click the daily, copy email address, and then you can paste it in this window. That is pretty much the easiest way I found to do this, and mainly because it pulls from the BC directory and it gives you that username at bc.edu version. And yes, that is in fact the way that I do it the majority of the time, so I can give my stamp of approval on that method. So once I have that on my clipboard, I just paste it right in there. And then I'm good to go. And I can give this person whatever role is necessary. So just a quick note about roles. Teacher and grading TA will have access to the gradebook, but more importantly than that, they'll also have the ability to download and help you with assignments. Pretty much everything else is, varying between different edit type of roles or just read-only roles. So the main ones you would be concerned with would be TA, designer, and observer. So TA and designer will give edit access. Observer basically gives a read-only type of role to that particular person. So let's say, it's meant for people observing a class. So if you had a student that was observing the class, you could add them via that method, although all requests to observe your class should go through academic and student services. But, if you had someone that only needed read-only access, this would be a good option for them right there. Then you can click Next, and you'll see that it confirms the username. So if that was incorrect, you would get an error message here. And then when you're ready, you just click Add Users, and it's as simple as that. I'm just going to cancel because I don't want to send Wayne an invite to my course. So another fun announcement, this actually isn't a FAQ, but this is just an announcement for this semester, is that we have installed a new law library resource, which is pretty exciting. So in your fall 2021 courses in Canvas, you'll see this law library research help link here. And what this does is it links to the law library research guides, which is really helpful. So this is the same guide that is linked to off of the library homepage, but now students can access all of these resources directly from your Canvas site. It basically mirrors all of that content here, which is really cool. So they can go and see, where do they get training, research, and support. They could figure out training dates available. They could search the research guides. They could chat with a librarian directly from here. They can also go to the About Us page and find the different legal librarians and their specialties and who they want to go see for help with specific courses. So this is a really cool resource for that. And this recently got turned on just for this semester. So I wanted to point that out while I was in Canvas. So the next announcement I would like to make is about Panopto. And this is twofold because Panopto does integrate with Canvas, but it is its own entirely separate thing. So for this semester, there was an announcement made that basically went over all of the policies for recording in Panopto. And originally we thought that course lecture captures were going to be made available by default. Well, it turns out that there was a new process that happened with ITS with how all of these recordings got created this semester. And basically we didn't make the cut to get that turned on for us. So I'd like to show you now how to change that setting yourself in your Panopto course folder. So the way it works now is all lecture captures are scheduled to be captured in the appropriate rooms. So all of the East Wing classrooms and all of the Stewart classrooms minus the smaller seminar rooms. And I've sent out information about which rooms have that capability before. And if you have a question, you can always reach out. But what you can do is at the folder level, so I've clicked on Panopto recordings from my Canvas course. Then at the top level, I'm going to click this gear icon. And what that's going to do is bring up the folder permissions. I can go to Settings, and then scroll down to this Availability section. So the way it's going to work now is that it's going to be set to never unless set on the session, or perhaps when approved by a publisher. So if you want this to automatically be ready for your students to view, you can go ahead and set this to immediately, and then this is a one-time change. You don't have to worry about doing this for the rest of the semester. All of your videos will now respect this particular setting when they're uploaded to your course folder, and then you're good to go. If you wanted to remove a video, a specific video, let's say, from viewing temporarily, you can always do that within the folder itself. This just sets the default permissions for all videos moving forward. So that's an easy way to turn that on. Each individual video also has a settings page that works very similarly, so you can adjust those availability settings there as well. Another update that's part of a FAQ and just a general announcement is the addition of NameCoach to each of the Canvas courses. So there's been a lot of communication about this recently, and I think it's been really well received by students. At the time of recording this video, over 2/3 of the students have uploaded their submissions and information to NameCoach, and there's more and more trickling in every day, which is great. And so what we've done is created a NameCoach beta link while we're waiting on the final integration here. And this links to a custom Google spreadsheet for this particular class. So when I click the link, I'm prompted to click this button to open the URL in a new tab. And when I do, it's going to launch a NameCoach spreadsheet here. So this will be in view-only mode for you. It shows their names, the phonetic spelling, pronouns, and the recording if they've uploaded anything. If you notice the information's missing, it just means they haven't uploaded that information. And as you can see in this particular course, there's quite a few students. So just a quick tip, you could scroll through and just search for people, or you can use the Command or Control F shortcut to find students in the sheet. So let's say I know I was looking for a particular student, then what I can do is start typing in their name, and it will find those instances, and I could just click these little arrows to cycle through them. So if I wanted to find this particular student to see how he pronounced his name, I could just click on the recording. It will open in a new tab, and I can listen to the recording and learn how to say his name, which is really helpful. And just as a quick reminder, if you notice your students haven't filled out the NameCoach integration, there's a 24-hour cycle basically where we're uploading these things manually behind the scenes. So it may just take some time for you to see that, but it wouldn't hurt to remind your students in the first week or so of school to go ahead and upload that information if they haven't. It only helps, each other and you to help learn how to pronounce their names and make everybody feel welcome here at BC, which is what we want. The last thing I'd like to talk about in Canvas is how to add links to things in your course. This has been another frequent question I've received recently, and I just want to demystify that process for some of you. Okay, I'm back on my testing site here. So let's just say I wanted to drop a link to the syllabus, for instance, on this home page. I have a syllabus section. I've already linked to the syllabus page actually, but I'm just going to do it on this page just as an example. So I'm on the home page. I click edit. And by the way, this works on any page with the rich content editor here. So this is always going to function the same no matter where you are. I'm just going to scroll down to the syllabus section. And just as an example, I'm just going to say, you can read the syllabus here. I'm going to highlight this whole sentence. By the way, this is an accessibility tip. You don't usually want to only highlight and make a link to things like the word here, because when screen readers read this, it's not very helpful to the end user. You'd rather give them more context by highlighting this whole sentence. So that's just a tip for accessibility. And then what I'm going to do, there's a couple different ways to do this, but the insert menu at the top here is probably the easiest way. You also have a link option here to insert documents by clicking this little icon, but I find the insert menu a little bit better because it also gives you the name of the icon, so it's a little bit easier to figure out at a glance. And then I'm just going to say upload a document. So for here, it's going to bring up your computer's file browser, and I can just click this area to find the location of what I want to upload. When I find the file and click open, and again, you can drag and drop onto this little rocket ship platform here, it will show you a preview of the name, and then you can click submit. And what that will do is anytime you have text highlighted, it makes that text the link. And you could check out the link options over here, so you can update the text to read something different. You don't want to change this because this is the link to the file in your Canvas site, which is helpful. And then you also have two display options. You could preview it inline, which will automatically expand this document in the window, or you can preview in an overlay, which is the default. So what that looks like, if I click save, and then I click the link, it will overlay it on the page and show me the document itself. And of course, this is not a syllabus. This is another document. I just named it syllabus arbitrarily, but you get the point. It gets the point across here. So if I click close, you're done. I'm going to go back to the edit screen and just show a couple other things. Let's say you've already taken the time to upload all of your files to the course files area, and you want to link to a file that's been uploaded before. That's also easy to do. So again, anywhere inside of this text editor, wherever your cursor is, that's where the file is going to be placed, or the link is going to be placed. So if I click insert, document, course documents, this time I get a pull down of every document I've already uploaded to the course. And I can just search for the document here. So if I know I want to link to the syllabus, I could start typing and it will show me all the documents that match. Then when I click the name of the document, it will throw that title over here. So this is a good example too. You can see this file had a weird name to it. It had this double docx thing. Well, this is just text. So I can just delete the text that's in there and I'm good to go. It still keeps the text for the rest of the link. And, you know, there's kind of like a no harm, no foul thing going on here. So if I mess up, I could either just remove the link and start from scratch, or I could click link options, adjust the text here. You know, maybe I give it number 2 and click done, and it will add that text in there for me. So that's how to add a document to your page in 2 different ways. And for now, I just recommend doing it this way. I think this is nice and simple. You could also use modules if you utilize modules for organizing your course. It also makes it very simple to add files there. So let me show you that, and then I will move on to the next topic. So on the modules page, let's say I wanted to add my syllabus to this course orientation section. This couldn't be easier. I just click the plus icon here, change my course content type to file. And like I said, if I've already uploaded this course file here, I can search for it in the section below. Or if I need to add a new file, I'll click the Create Files link here at the top, click Choose Files, it will open up my file browser. I could search for and find it again here. But since I've already uploaded it, I'm actually going to find it in the course file section. So I could just scroll down, find the file that I'd like to upload, go ahead and select it, click Add Item. Now, if I want to change the name here, I can just click this little options dropdown, click Edit, get to the far end of this little text box area, and then simply update the text. So I just deleted off those characters, and then I'm good to go. I can click Update, and it will respect my naming convention there. The last thing I'd like to touch on is actually in Poll Everywhere. So if I go to bc.edu/CTE, go over to Tech Tools, scroll down to Poll Everywhere, there is some documentation both for instructors and students for how to use this. And I'd like to suggest a different way of adding students to your course, which I'll get to in just a second. But there is a guide for students. I'm just going to open this up in a new tab. This walks them through registering for your course, which is important to do for each course, especially if you want to use Poll Everywhere for things like attendance, or you want to be able to run reports on this after the fact. If you're just using Poll Everywhere anonymously, students still need to register by going to polleverywhere.com. They'll see this information here to register for their account, and then they'll be good to go. So for each semester, it's actually important to create a registration link for each of your courses. And like I said, there's a different way that I like to show versus the documentation here. There is a Canvas integration that will automatically import all the students in your course, which is one way to do it. However, it doesn't update dynamically in the background, so it would require you to do that more than once in order to make sure you capture your students after the ad drop period, for instance. So what I would recommend doing instead is adding a link to your Canvas page. And I'll link to the written documentation for this below, but for the time being, I'll just show you a quick example of this. So if I go to polleverywhere.com, and I sign in, you will see on the left-hand side, after you're signed in, this participants link. So if I click this, what I can do is each year, I can basically delete my old invitation links. So I can, let me click out of that. I can click edit, and then I can just trash everything that I'm not currently using. Permanently delete the group. Permanently delete the group. And then what I can do is click done. I could have clicked new group as well, but I'll go ahead and do it from this screen. So if I click new group, then I give it a name. Usually it's a good idea to include the semester so it's easy to identify them and delete old groups later on. I can click create. And then if I click the invite link, what happens is it gives me this link to share. So clicking this little link button will copy it to my clipboard. Then I can hop over to my Canvas site. I can add a new module. Let's just say this is just an example. One way to do this, I can click page, or I could click external URL even. Both options would work. I'll do both just to show you quickly. Here's the URL, you paste that in there, you give it the page name, student Poll Everywhere registration. Let's go ahead and have it load in a new tab. Click Add Item. Don't forget to publish it. And now your students can click this link in order to register Poll Everywhere for your course. The other way you could do this, you could create a page instead, if this makes more sense to you. Create a page, give it a page name, Poll Everywhere registration, information, add item, click the name of the page, go ahead and edit the page. Now, the benefit of using pages is you can give your students a little more context. Maybe you could even link to this documentation here, the student guide. So what I could do is say, click here to register for my course with Poll Everywhere. If you need help, you can read the documentation here. So I showed how to create links to documents earlier. This is a way to add links to websites. So again, if I'm back in Poll Everywhere, copy this link to my clipboard. In my Canvas site, I've got this text selected. Remember, I've got the whole sentence here, and then this little button will create hyperlinks. So I want to create an external link. If I click this, here's the text. Here's the link text box. I'll add my register link here. Click done. Now I want to grab the link to the documentation, which up in the address bar is how you get the web address here. So I'm just using the keyboard shortcut Command-C on a Mac, Control-C on a PC. Hopping over to my Canvas page, click the link icon, and then add that link into the link field. Command-V or Control-V on a Mac and PC respectively, are the shortcuts. I could have also right-clicked in here and clicked paste. Either one works. Click done, and then you can see it updates the link here. Then I can click save and publish to do everything at once. And of course, I could test these links to make sure they actually work. I'd also like to talk about some Zoom questions that I've received. So I've sent a lot of documentation and information about creating your own Zoom links yourself. I'll link to a couple of resources below, but really quickly, I'm just going to cover one way. There's many ways to do this. I find this to be the easiest personally. So I'll just walk through that. But let's say you wanted to create a Zoom link for class or office hours purposes. Both would work perfectly fine. I already have Zoom open up in the background, so I'm just going to switch windows real quick. And I haven't signed in yet, but the web address is zoom.us. This is how you get to your Zoom account. Another quick and easy way to do this is to go to bccte.zoom.us. This is Boston College's custom page with our own built-in sign-in screen here, which is helpful because it takes you to the appropriate sign-in method automatically. You don't have to worry about choosing it. You just sign in with your BC credentials and you're in. If you do not have a Zoom account already, when you go through this method, it will create one for you, which is very helpful. So I'm going to go back to zoom.us to show you the other way this works. Click sign in. Here, you ignore everything up here. Don't do anything here. You're just going to click SSO. Then in the company domain, you type in BCCTE, which, by the way, stands for Boston College Center for Teaching Excellence, in case you were wondering where that came from. And then you click Continue. And you're brought back to this BC sign-in page where you'll type in your primary credentials. From here, you'll have a list of all the meetings that you have scheduled. So if you have a previous Zoom account that you want to reuse for your class, you could potentially do that depending on the settings. But if you want to start from scratch, which I suggest doing, go ahead and click Schedule a Meeting over here. Give it a name. So this would be Fall 2021 Zoom meeting link. Besides Zoom meeting link, you might want to enter in your course name here just for clarity. This really doesn't matter. This is just the topic that you see when you go to start the meeting. And what you want to do is click Recurring Meeting. So type in the title, click Recurring, change the recurrence to no fixed time. Now, this meeting ID and security section, the meeting ID should always generate automatically. Don't let it choose your personal meeting ID. For security, this might look different depending on the security group you're in. I have another video that goes over this in great detail, which you can watch to figure out more about that. So a lot of times the waiting room and the authentication will be locked out and checked for you. And then you could choose to enable a passcode or not. And all of these different settings just apply different features to your Zoom waiting room here. So I'll refer to this other video below. I'll put the link just below the timestamp and the description for this section that you can look at to learn more about that. Then what you want to do is at this point you click save. And again, I'm kind of glossing over a lot of the other features here. There's plenty of other resources out there that cover that in great detail. And then what I want to do is copy the invitation. So this could be, again, for multiple reasons you want to create a Zoom link for anything for your course. It could be office hours. It could be for guest lecturers. You could send it to your student if you have an accommodation so they could view the course. There are lots of valid reasons to do so. The invite link here, there's nothing really special or magic about this. This is just the link that you share with them. So you could do that via email. You can save it to your Canvas site. You can provide a link there. A lot of you have a Zoom module that's been created for previous courses, so you can mimic that behavior for future Zoom links if you'd like. But the main point is you just want to right-click and choose Copy Link Address. It's on the clipboard of your computer, which is just kind of like hanging out in virtual memory, and it's ready for you to paste wherever. The other thing you could do is click Copy Invitation, and it gives you the full meeting details. So let's say you have someone that needs to join by phone. It also gives you the dial-in numbers, which is really helpful. So that's another good option that you could use here. To copy this full meeting invitation, you just click the button. It copies the whole thing to your clipboard. So let's say we wanted to share this with our students. I'm going to hop back over to my Canvas window. I could do this in a module very easily. There's already a Zoom information module created here. So let's just say I wanted to add a page. Let me just delete these, start from scratch. So I have the Zoom meeting information module. If you don't have one, you can just click the add module button and create one. Very easy to do. I want to make sure it's published. So I'll click the publish link, click the little plus here to add something to it. I'm going to add a page. Let's create a new page. We'll say Zoom meeting info. Why don't I throw in fall 2021? Just to differentiate it from everything else. Click add item. Then I'm going to click the name of that item so that I can edit it. Click edit. And if you remember, I still have all that information hanging out on my clipboard. So if I right click and choose paste, it will add all of that right here. Now, typically what I do, I just delete this kind of top section. No one needs to know that I'm inviting you to a Zoom link because of course I am. This is my course. You could leave the topic here if you want. You can adjust the time if you want. All of this is just editable text. It has nothing to do with your Zoom meeting. The one thing you don't want to change is the link here. So this is the actual meeting link. If you alter this in any way, people will not be able to get to your Zoom meeting. The one thing you do need to do is make it an actual hyperlink though. So select the text and copy it. Again, right-click copy or use the keyboard shortcut. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut, Command-C. Then I'm going to click this link icon, click the link, Command-V to paste it. And if you notice, this time the text and the link are the same thing, although I certainly could change this text if I wanted to. Then click Done, and you're ready to go. It makes that the link. Save and publish to save my changes. I can see it's published up here, and I can tell that I can click this link to actually go somewhere. So again, this is all done through Zoom's web interface. I just find this really easy. You can see all of your scheduled meetings here. If you ever need to grab a link to a meeting you've created, let me see if I can find this one meeting, the fall 2021. All I need to do is click the name of it, and then I'm brought back to this sort of details page where I can copy the link or the full invitation if I need to. And again, tons of ways you can share this with students. You can create a Canvas announcement. You can add it to your homepage. You can add it to its own module. You can email it to participants directly. So you can see there's a lot of options. There's nothing really special about it other than you need to make sure you grab the appropriate link and then you are good to go. So that does it for this quick video about frequently asked questions and a couple extra announcements kind of sprinkled in there. So I hope you liked it. If you enjoy this format, let me know. I can keep doing some more regular FAQ type videos just like this, where I just kind of walk through quickly a few things. The pace is going to be a little bit quicker. I don't want to dive too deep into explanations. Really just get to the point, and I'll timestamp each of those things for you in the video so you can get to them much quicker when you're reviewing them. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.